Hey foodies, this is your girl Nick. For once, I'm not reporting from my dining room, but from my bedroom. I just wanted to do my end of Nick's Hunger Game report. You can probably see my cat in the background. Um, I didn't do my report last night because we had some really bad thunderstorms. I understand they were all up and down the eastern seaboard, and that just made my life a little bit wonky. But I did go until the very, very end of my hunger challenge. I'm very, 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 very proud of myself for completing that 5 days at $1.50 a day. You guys already know what I was eating. I think yesterday was the only thing that was different about that was that I had run out of lentils. So I ate chickpeas, chickpeas and eggs. Really, very exciting, isn't it? So I just wanted to sort of give some insight onto what I got out of this whole process. Not only from, the perspective of, I think I've been sharing along the way my thoughts and my perspectives on poverty and how not having enough to eat can affect you, how it can separate you from other people, how it can keep you from being productive, and how important it is to, build people up so that they're stable and have the resources that they need, not only to get something to eat, but if, there isn't something to eat, to have other resources that they can use toward feeding themselves. So I think I've already been pretty clear all week about that. So right now I'm going to focus on my eating insights. One of the things that I realized through this challenge is that we can fool ourselves into thinking that we're not eating too much, but maybe we're eating too much. I think I was eating too much. I don't eat bad, the quote unquote bad stuff. I'm not a big fan of calling food bad or demonizing food, but I don't eat a lot of unhealthy food there. That's a good adjective. I don't eat a lot of unhealthy food. I mostly eat lean proteins. I love vegetables, not so much for fruit. I have to be in the mood for fruit. The starchy carbs, when I do eat starchy carbs, I do eat some starchy carbs. I do eat bread. On an average week, I'll probably eat maybe 3 slices of whole wheat bread. Don't do pasta. Pasta makes me horribly sick. Don't do rice. I do cauliflower rice instead and all of that. But even within healthy eating, there is eating too much. And I think I was eating too much because it's interesting how okay I was between certain meals. Between getting up in the morning until breakfast was not difficult at all. Even though I'm not like most post-ops who absolutely cannot eat in the morning, I can eat straight out of bed and not get sick. I just usually don't want to. So I try to eat within an hour of waking up, but if time is a factor and I have to eat straight out of bed, I can and I'm fine. From breakfast to lunch, no problem. Lunch to dinner was a little bit challenging, especially the last couple of days when I had things to do in the evening and I clearly didn't pack. I didn't pack mostly because I was eating stuff that wasn't necessarily the best to pack and microwave, and I didn't always have access to a microwave. So some days that stretch between lunch and dinner was 5.5, 6 hours. The last couple of days, it's been about 9 hours. That was really hard. However, I made it. That hunger was not necessarily an emergency. And it wasn't an emergency for me because, and I want to stress this enough, I'm not advocating going 8 or 9 hours without eating. However, the fact that if you put this into a real world context, one could say the same thing about 3 hours. If you haven't eaten at the 3 hour mark, oh God, you're going to starve. Like I said the other day, if you have to wait a couple extra minutes to make a healthy choice, you're not going to starve. You're going to make it. And that's one of the things that I've learned this week. Dinner until the next day was by far the hardest because there's a lot of time to occupy after dinner before you go to bed. And, many of us battle the night eating monster. I'm no different. I sort of have to watch myself on that. That is the one thing I hope to carry forward with me through this challenge and beyond, is to stop the night snacking. And get on a plan where, I eat dinner and that's it. Or maybe I have like a no sugar added fudgesicle or something later on in the evening. But it's easy to tell yourself, oh, I need one more little protein snack. No, you don't. Because the one more little protein snack becomes 5 more little protein snacks, and then you're in trouble. So that's one of the big things that I got out of this. Another big thing I got out of this is that I'm not hydrating enough. I drank a lot of water during this challenge because, quite simply, water kept my stomach occupied when food could not. I feel very, very good because I've been hydrated. So that's another lesson. And let me see. What else would you guys want to know? Oh, folks have been sort of asking me what my first meal after the challenge ends. And I made jokes about having something at midnight, but I didn't actually. I wasn't actually hungry. And I woke up this morning and I was kind of hungry, but not really. You know what my first big meal was after this? It was a half a cup of Fiber One, y'all. I'm not even going to lie. I ate it dry. I love Fiber One. I don't know why I love it so much, but I do. I sort of put it in a cup and munched it as I was walking around the house. My eating today was actually fairly interesting because my stomach, I think, is mad at me for last week. You can't exactly just jump head first back into regular eating after you do something like this. You sort of have to ease yourself into it. So it's been all about small things. I had, I had the Fiber One, and then I think a little while later, a couple of hours later, I had like one of those little things of tuna salad that they sell with the 4 crackers. I had that, and that made me feel kind of icky. And then my stepdad did buy us some lunch from Subway, and I did have Subway. I think by that time I was sort of in recuperation mode. And then I had my Click Frap not that long ago, and the Click Frap by far is the easiest thing that's gone down today. So I'm not trying to push it with 8 million meals. I did want to get in my protein because I've been depriving my body of protein the last couple of days. But yeah, it wasn't a glamorous meal. I had some challenges thrown in my way. I had my daughter for a couple of days when I didn't expect to have her. She's supposed to be with her dad. So, stuff like that. Half of Baltimore, well, probably more than half, is without electricity right now. I feel very, very blessed to not want to be one of those people. So, just handling things like that. But I'm very glad I did this challenge. It taught me a lot about how I look at food. It taught me a lot about how I can be mindful of people who don't have enough food to eat. And it's sort of stirred up in me sort of a commitment to keep thinking about these things and keep supporting organizations and causes that are working to end hunger. So I hope you guys will check into it. I don't necessarily endorse or not endorse doing a challenge like this. If you're a post-op, I would say if you're under a year out, absolutely no, not even. Doctors might say 18 months, 2 years out. Anyway, but for me, it really was. It opened my eyes and it changed a lot of things. So I'm so glad I did it. I'm very proud of myself for surviving it. And I'm glad that I got to share that experience with all of you. So that's it, my final report. Not my final video, but my final report. So thank you for following along and for putting up with me through all my whining. Have a good evening, videos.